All right, everyone. It's another day. And like usual, we try to go through all we did on the previous day, see the trade we took, and we look at where the market is going forward today again. So first, let's start by looking at what are the trades we took yesterday, what's where the profit we were able to get from such trades, and if we still have some pending trades, we're going to look at those, and then we'll look at where the market is going next. Now, a few things I want us to know. Number one is we're really seeing impressive results from a whole lot of our users following the live calls, and that's really, really amazing. We've seen people's profits ratio go over 300% on like what's some users were having earlier. So we want to improve this more. We see how vital this is to the whole TAFANs globally. So we want to keep improving on this more. And to do that, we are going to be bringing some stuff in the next couple of days. One of those is going to be opening up a special Telegram group where we're going to be posting the signals, because we don't want you to miss out on the signals. Right now, we try to post them on the regular channel, but you could mix that up with the announcement that goes on a lot of times on those channels. So we're going to create a specific one that only has to do with posting the trade setup, and you're also able to chat and interact on those setup. So part of those we're going to be seeing this week. When that comes up, you're going to get the link. You want to join that. You want to put that on alert because we're going to be sending setup sometimes even before we get on the Zoom. We could find a trade setup, and then we're going to send that to the group, and you could just take that instantly. So those are a few things you want to note. And if you still have other TAFANs in your leadership circle that is not joining the training yet, you want to reach out to them. This is the best stuff we're doing right now. We want to make sure everyone is fully equipped. They're making a whole lot of profit. We do have other bots. Neuronet is there. Smart Investors there. I reckon that Neuronet has done in the past 1 week about 3 to 5% for users. That is impressive. But if you want to go beyond those basic systems, you want to join this live course. You want to follow up everything we're doing on this live course. Now for Neuronet, for those of you who might have noticed that your Neuronet is not like popping up trades every day because of part of the optimization we did last time. So we've seen some requests of users saying probably the Neuronet is not running. It's still running. It probably is not taking so many trades like it was doing every day before. Right now, it looks for the best, so it doesn't involve in too many over trading. Looks for the best of trade. If you've noticed, you've seen most of those best of trade where your Neuronet just takes profit, about 1 to 5% profits, and it keeps doing that to hit your total goal for the month of about 15%. So when it does 15 to 30%, 15% first, when it does that, it could shut down to make sure it secures that profit that it has made for you. So you need to understand your Neuronet still runs. But if you want to move beyond those profits of 10, 15%, then you want to be on the live call. Like I always say, we're printing money on this live call, literally printing money. We've seen people do literally every day, 25 to 75% every day on the live trading section. So let's jump right in and see what we did previously. So last time we took several trades, and one of them is the Matic trade. So we look at that, how that is doing. This was our setup last time on Matic, and that setup is still there. And we find Matic running into our first zone over here, which is totally our game plan for the market to move into our zone to get us into much entry. So if you're still on Matic, that trade is still on. I reckon some person already took profit because they updated their take profit to something lower. And that is pretty also fine, but I still have here, my Matic is still open over here. I still have Matic open over here. So my goal is to keep accumulating a lot of capital into Matic. So if you're still on that trade is still totally fine. If you're not on that trade, the Matic trade still stand. You're going to have lesser capital because we've already covered up a lot of market movement. So if you're joining right now, you'll probably not have a lot of drawdown. So it's still good for you. You want to take in some trade into Matic. So that still stands. Then we also had the STS trade. So just look at that again. The STS shorts we had yesterday. So that's our target was over here for 10%. I reckon that STS has done over 5% dump, which gave us about over 25% profit. So last time I checked, I was in about 38% profit. So it almost went to our target of the full 10%. So it did roughly about 8%, right? And right now it's starting to retrace. So part of the things we want to do is saying that, okay, STS is holding very tight on the support from dropping low up to our 10% drop, which is going to give us a 50% profit. We're only able to get about 38% profit. So one of the things you want to do right now, if you're still on the STS trade, is to update your take profit to something shorter. So we're going to do that right now. If you're on this trade, you want to go to your Tafabot right away, and you want to update your take profit to 4% move instead of the 10. So what is going to happen is when FTS drops again, which is going to be about 20% profit, is going to take a 20% profit. That is 3% away from the current profit. Now, I pretty much prefer other trade that we have, like the trade on Lena and the rest, which we're going to review, better than STS. I really don't like trades that just gets into the first entry. I like trade that goes through the whole structure of our Martingale because it guarantees much profit. So, but as a trader, you have to understand every profit is profit. So you want to take every single profit. So let's go right to Tafabot. I'm going to do that also. So I move over to my Tafabot. So I'm going to go to my bots and futures bots. STS was a short, so it's only available for futures. All right. So you want to go over to futures bot. You want to look for your STS setup. So you're going to edit it. You don't need to do anything on Binance. You don't need to close it manually. You're just going to go over to Nest, and you're going to see the take profit. We had a 10% drop here. It went over 8%, did not get to 10, and the market started dropping. So we want to update that to 4 over here. So you want to go for 4%. What this means is STS is going to be closing really, really fast. So when you do that, you want to save, and that would be all. So we're going to watch STS close right now. So this is 18%. By updating 4% on a 5S, we're saying it should close on a 20% take profit. This is 18.2. So we're going to see this trade close shortly. So while we're waiting for that, let's move on to the others. Then we also looked for a trade on Fetch. Now, this was our setup for Fetch also. This was our setup for Fetch. So the goal was Fetch does a move upward up to 16%, and Fetch already did that. You see the spike over here in our first zone. And if you go to your Tafabot and you're on Fetch, that should have already closed on profit. So this is Fetch setup for me over here. Our profit target was for 5% take profit. So it went over that. It did over 10%, and that is good. So that has already closed for profit. I took a $76 profit on that. So that is done already. So if you took the trade, congratulations, you made 25% of your capital. So this is how we make a lot of profits on this setup. Then we also took a trade on on Lena, yes, we also have a trade on Lena. So Lena setup is still valid. So if you're joining for the first time today, you didn't join the last setup, this setup already in our Telegram channel, you want to go over there and do all the settings, and they're still valid. The setup for Matic is still valid. FET is done already. You don't want to do that. STS is done already because we already updated for STS to close on profits. It's just waiting for 2%, and then it's going to be closing on profits. Lena is still valid, means you can still take that setup. Now, Lena is gradually moving into our target zone over here for 13%, and that's pretty amazing. So if I go on my Binance, I still have Lena open. I don't have much position yet. My goal is to have a $25,000 position on Lena. This is still there about $3,000 position side. That is not my goal. So I'm super glad that that is still moving in the direction that we want for Lena. So once it moves into a zone, we're going to have more entries in. Remember, more entries in means more profits. So that's the stand. Then we also have another trade on ANK Arrow. And this was our setup for ANK Arrow. And as you can see over here, it has totally covered up our first drop zone. And that is super amazing. If it continues into our second drop zone, that makes it even better. So if you go on Binance, I still have ANK Arrow over here, and I have pretty much about the same size of order. My goal is still a $25,000 size. So that is still good and still valid. Now, this is the pretty amazing stuff about the setups that we do, which I talk about a lot, is if you go to any of this trade, let's take ANK Arrow, for example, you're going to see that the market, if you look at the start price over here, we started this trade at about 0.042. And right now, the price of ANK Arrow is 0.040. So the price has dropped like pretty much. If you look over to our price drop over here, we've almost achieved a 13% drop. And yet we're just over ANK Arrow. We're just about, this is 2%. So we're less than 2% away from our entry. So that's pretty amazing. This is lesser than 2%. This is about 0.2% because this is on a 5S leverage. So it's showing us a 2%. So in real sense, that is less than that. So that is so much amazing. Next, we move to the BTC trade, which we still have on, and that is still running into our first zone over here. So that's still amazing. That trade is still valid, still running. If you didn't set that up, you want to set it up. BTC trade keeps taking in profits. So that is still a good setup to follow. Next, we want to look at where is the market moving forward right now. And we checked that yesterday, and it's still pretty much in the same zone that we're seeing that money is beginning to leave the USDT market, meaning people are taking out money. They're taking out money from stable coins, and we want to see where they're sending this money into. And we checked, and the same process, we're seeing this money moving into Bitcoin, Bitcoin money flow bouncing off its support. And we're also finding the same thing on altcoins. So our setup is still pretty much intact, still pretty much the same thing. Now we want to add one more setup into our setup today. If you do have some questions, I see a lot of questions popping into the chat. You can keep sending those questions, and I'm going to attend to them once we're done going through this setup. So keep popping those questions, and we're going to see to them. Now, one of the trades we want to add for today, if you still have all of these trades running, like I have over here, if you still have those trades running, that's pretty amazing. So I don't want to create any extra setup on this because those trades are still valid, right? Those trades are still valid. You can go take those trades. You'll find the setup in the Telegram group. But we're going to add one more trade to this list. All right. Now, the trade we want to add is for where do I have you? It's for XEN. So we're going to be adding XEN trade today to this list. And XEN has a pretty much interesting setup that we want to take advantage of. And one thing I like about XEN setup today is that it's a setup that anybody can take. It doesn't matter what capital you have. So first we have the XEN zone ranging about maximum zone up about 30% from the current price. We have the next zone at 17 and the first zone at 5.9%. So what we're looking at to do with XEN today is to take up a long position. Our chart is still bullish, so we want to take up a long position on this. And we want to cover only the first XEN zone, because XEN has already done a large drop into our zone. So we have pretty much a short money movement to cover up for XEN. So for this, we're looking at only the first zone for today, which is at 12.3%. So you want to go right into your TAFA and you want to create this setup for XEN. This is a long setup, means you can also take it on spot. You want to create the setup for XEN right away. If you go to the Martingale calculator, as always, if you don't have that, I'm just going to send that into the chat also. So if you go to the Martingale setup, I'm going to be creating a setup for XEN for $5,000 on the 5S. That's going to give me a $25,000 capital size. So for XEN movement, we're just tracking a 12% movements. And for XEN, we have the average movement at 3%. So if we calculate that, we're just going to have 4 entries into XEN. We just have 4 entries into XEN. So this is one trade you want to jump right in right away. I'm going to create my setup already for XEN. So if I go to my Tafabot, I'm going to see, do I have a XEN setup already? If I don't, I'm just going to create a new bot into XEN. All right, I see there's a lot of message. We're going to go through a whole lot of those messages. So just keep sending them in while we create our setup. So for XEN, I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a bot name and call it XEN setup. And exchange, I'm using Binance. You can use any other exchange for this as usual. So XEN, we have them over here. Right. And select. Then we have the maximum capital. For me, I'm running a $5,000 5S, $25,000 capital size. And we're looking for a long with them, and the Martingale type is normal. And if I go through the calculator, it is pretty much giving me my setup. So I have my first entry amount at 166.7. So I'm just going to do that, 166.7. And I have the number of entry as 4, and my leverage for XEN is 5. And I have the entry configuration over here, first at 3 and at 6 and at 9 and 12. And I have pretty much the same thing over here, 9 and 12. That's amazing. Okay. How you want to save that, and our take profit for XEN. XEN is quite unique. So unlike the setup we did for Matic and the rest that were just looking for one-time profit and the bot start for XEN, we're doing something different. So we're going to have a strategy period of 10 over here. We're going to have a strategy period of 10, looking to take 1% profit on a 5S, which is going to be 5% profit at each trade. So we're looking for a 5% profit at each trade. The strategy period is 10, and our re-entry, we want it to get right back into the trade after every profit. So it's going to be 0.1, 0.1. And then for our entry configuration, we already did that from the calculator. So I'm going to save my XEN setup. have that saved, bot created, and I go right into starting the bots. Okay, where do I have you? Over here. I'm looking for it. Okay, I think I did. I called it something else. I called it XEN. I'm gonna change that so I don't mistake it. Head back, right back into the bots. I want to correct the name. This is XEN. All right, next, and everything is still the same. Save my setup, and I want to go right into starting that up. So I have XEN over here, start up the bot. Now, if you didn't quite get the whole data as I gave about the setup, you're going to find that already in our Telegram channel. So it's there already, all of the setup for XEN. You want to take that and join the setup right away. So for today, we still have the same setup. We still have, I already have my XEN open right away. That's part of the perks of fast license. XEN is open. We have BTC trade still on. We have Martic, we have XEN Crypto, we have Lena, STS. We're going to close this on profit shortly because we updated the take profit already. So these are the trade we have now. I'm going to jump right into looking into your questions. We're going to have better interaction to see and be sure that you're all following our setups every single day. All right, so if you have more questions, you want to send those questions right in. So let's look through the questions. Perfect. Perfect. Someone said, thank you for today's program. It's amazing. Someone said, I still haven't been able to place a trade. Please let me know why you've not been able to place a trade, and let's see how we can correct that. And someone said, are yesterday's trade still good to continue with it? Yes, I stated that yesterday's trade are still 100% valid. You want to take all of those trades. We have another one saying, please, I took the trade rate late and it's currently negative. What percentage can one close it looking at the current price? Let me know what trade you're talking about. And I think I already reviewed those. For whatever trade you took right now, in those setup, they're still valid. You don't need to do anything about them. If there's any change, we are always going to be updating. Someone said, please, this is my first time joining. What is the least capital I need for any of this trade? So, for example, I gave the trade on XEN right now. For XEN, you only just need about $100 capital. Even $50 should be able to run that. But you want to stick to a 5S leverage. That is the recommended for that maximum. So you're going to require $100 capital to be able to take XEN fully. Someone said, if you're to adjust the take profit to something lower in any other trade, can you also adjust the strategy period? Okay, so the reason why we adjusted the take profit is that we're looking through our charts to see what is the market heading to. So we saw that the market got into our zone. The profit target was 10%, but we were only able to move up to 8%. So we had to update to take profit at the current profit, but that doesn't affect the strategy period. Strategy period only means if you believe in the setup more, means you say after taking profits, you want to go back into the trade, but we don't want to go back because most of the setups we create are within the zone, right? So understand that the trading concepts we do are trading within the zone. Anytime we go outside the zone, that trade is now invalid. So you don't want to just create 100 strategy period because you want to keep taking trade. When it moves outside the zone, you're now trading an invalid setup. So this is why we go every day, we review it and see where is the market moving to. So you don't want to adjust the strategy period. For markets that has a longer strategy period like ZEM for today, I always state such markets. Someone said, thank you. I am now making profit with Tafabot. This is amazing. I'm glad to hear that. We're going to keep this initiative running. We're going to keep also improving it. We want to make sure all of our community members are making a whole lot of profits. Someone said, I'm new to this platform. I binded the Binance. When I try to make a trade, it says wallet not connected. Now, I like to believe that what you mean is you binded maybe sports or futures, but you need to note that in Binance, for example, or any of the exchange that is available on both spot and futures, if you binded your spot exchange, you also need to bind the futures exchange. So it's probably telling you exchange not connected. Because maybe you binded sports and you're trying to connect futures, so it wouldn't work. So you want to also bind the futures exchange to be able to trade on both sides. Perfect. Someone said, I would like to do a trade if, will I be able to do a trade if I have $60 capital? Yes, like the ZEM trade, you'll be able to take that. Please, how long would the live trade last? 1 to 3 months? It's continuous for TAFA license member. Yes, our goal right now as an organization is to commit to the profitability of every single license users. We are responsible for that. We want to make sure you're always making profit. Now, we do have the basic profit system, but we also understand that there are users who have better hunger for more profit. And I believe that's why you're here, because you want to go beyond the basic system. So we're committed to doing that. It's going to last for as long as this is what the community need. Now, of course, we keep trying to improve it. Like I stated, that we're going to be installing or starting the new setup channel. So much more initiative is going to be coming out from this to make it better, more effective, and more efficient for our users also. Someone said, with the bot trade, if my fund is below $100, yes, it's going to trade. It's all about your setup. You want to tell it what capital to trade for, but you want to ensure that you have the minimum capital that your exchange requires. So I have another one. This platform is for very long time or very short time. That's a pretty interesting question. Tafabot has been there for a while, and we're going to be there in the next 5, 10, 20 years as far as the crypto market still stand. Now, I'm going to give you an insight to give you a clue of how much more we have more futuristic thinking, is that at a point, we're going to see Tafabot extend also into the forex market. That is still in testing, still in development. So we're here for the long run, which is why we're committed to doing this live training. We want every community member to understand how our system works, how you're able to use it, how you're able to take these profits daily. And we're glad to see the users are already picking up on that. Said, another question says, how much minimum or maximum deposit? We do not, TAFA do not charge minimum, maximum deposit. It's all on your exchange. So you want to confirm what is the minimum your exchange requires you to trade with. Pretty much is going to be about $50 to $100 minimum. So that is not on Tafabot, that is on your exchange. Someone said, if I invest, then I have to trade myself or the robot trade for you. What we're doing right now is 100% automated trading. Like we have the automated trading for Smart Invest, we have for Neuronet, but those are passive income bots. Now, if you want to make much more money, you need to move to professional bots like the Martingale strategy. Now, all of those are still automated, but you need to create the configuration that the bot should run with, which is why we have this training to show you configurations every single day. Now, you don't need to worry about learning how to create or how to understand the configuration if you are not technical. That's why after this meeting, we are always sending the configuration in plain text, like you find in the current Telegram channel. You just impute those configurations and you're good to go. You don't need to monitor it. You don't need to recreate or check the trade once it's created. What is the minimum capital for them? $50 or $100 is going to do is a pretty much short setup for 4 entries. So that is very, very easy. Someone said this trade section is far more profitable. Please stick to it. And I encourage everyone to take that. That's amazing. And don't forget, the trade setup is not for us to analyze the market and try to manually trade it. If you manually take this trade, you're going to be killing your capital because the concept by which we trade is called trading in the zone. And this concept works through the Martingale bot strategy. So when we look at the market, we create the configuration into the Martingale bot strategy and allow the bot to do its work. I don't ever have to go to my Binance to see what is happening, how it's trading, or click a button. I don't do any of those, and everything is handled by the bots. Amazing. Someone says today's meeting is super quick. That's amazing. We try to make it as short as possible as we keep going on to make sure, the goal is to make sure you're following, you're taking this trade, and not just that we have a lengthy meeting. Okay, to correct again, the market we called extra for today is XEN, XEM, it is XEN. Someone said, can I take this trade with $200 capital? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes, you can do that. Someone said, how do you determine the price movements? Once again, we do a trading in the zone where we identify what is the long-term market zone, what is the short-term market zone. So we get the average movements in short-term, long-term we get the price movements, and then we create configuration for that. To understand that, you want to go on our YouTube, look for the first video when we started this live training. I pretty much explained it over there on how we create the zone. If you're stuck at the entry, someone said, I'm stuck at the entries, please let me know. Send more chats in. I'm still reading chats downward. You want to send those chats in and I'm going to answer them. Let me know where you're stuck. Please, sir, if you make profits on futures bots on the coin in your exchange, do you need to remove the profit or you need to leave it in your exchange? It's totally up to you. Your bot will never take back those profits. It's only going to trade with the capital you assign for it. If the profits are on your exchange or not there, it's totally up to you. You can withdraw it anytime. That is between you and your exchange. So someone said, what details do I need to put in the price drop and Martingale ratio? I'm going to share my screen once more, just to clarify that. Let me know if you can see my screen again. I just want to clarify the question that user asked. So if you go to the Martingale calculator and you put in the details, price movements, average movements, capital, it gives you all of the setup. Now, how do you use this setup? The first thing it tells you is the number of re-entry. Now, if I go to my Tafabot, I'm gonna push this right here. So if I go to my Tafabot and I click on edit, now part of the setup that is going to require from me after I put in the total capital, remember this total capital is the same that I put in over here. The strategy mode is long like we called, and I go on next, it's gonna ask me my first entry amount. Now this is the first entry amount that the calculator gave me based on my capital. So you see pretty much the calculator gives you everything. So number of re-entry, you see over here, number of re-entry, the calculator tells me it is 4. I only need to enter 4, just the same way the leverage is what we state. Now the entry configuration, if you click on it, it tells you the price drop. If it is a long, if it is a short, it tells you the price rise. Now over here in the entry configuration, it also shows you the price rise or drop. So all you need to do is take this data 3, 6, 9, 12, like it gave to you 3, 6, 9, 12, impute the data over here. Then you see the Martingale ratio and you do pretty much the same thing over here. So it's so straightforward, so simple. That's why we created the calculator to guide you in all of this. So I'm gonna go right back into the questions and let's see how much more questions we can handle for today. Please, can we have a video where the process of selecting the zones I explained? Yes, it's on the YouTube channel already. You want to get that over there. What is the maximum trade for a $100 license? Can it be increased from 5 to 10? I already stated this in the last meeting. We are looking into that already. Okay. Please, do I use the same info I used to bind sports? Yes, the same info for sports, you use it to bind. If you're talking about Binance, the same will bind futures. But you want to make sure that in your Binance API settings, you select it to enable futures trading. Then it will be able to bind. Someone said on TradingView, the market setup shown in this call is a free indicator. No, this is our custom system. And like I said, it's called trading in the zone. We create that ourselves. It's not like overly on TradingView. So you can use any chart system for that. This person said, now I can confidently invest on Tafabot. That is amazing. I decided to go on a break. That's amazing. Now I'm investing more. Thank you for this initiative. I'm glad that this is making the impact that we envisioned for it. Amazing. Someone said, what is the strategy period for BTC? I did explain that. If you go on the Telegram channel, you're going to see the setup posted yesterday. Then you're going to see the strategy period. To confirm that again, I'll just go to my own trade on BTC, and the strategy period was 50. Yeah, and that has already executed about 5 times since we gave that trade. All right. I'm taking a lot of questions today, and I'm super excited about that. This is our goal, to make sure we're in touch with the community. We know what you're thinking at every point and how we can best help our community make money. Someone said, thanks, I made my first good trade profit yesterday. I'm super glad to hear that. Don't forget, guys, we're starting something new that we called retraded free results. So when you're making this profit, you want to keep sending that into the chart. And during the week, we're just going to pick a few persons from that acknowledge their profit in the chart. And we're going to get to have a one-on-one with you. So this is why you need to always be in the live section. You also need to post your profit. We want to see how well you're doing with this setup. I want to have a one-on-one with you. So we keep acknowledging and recording those names. All right. Please, how does one select the right setting for Smart Invest? Okay, that's pretty amazing. We're going to keep looking into that to give you more details. But for now, there's a video on YouTube. You want to go to Tafabot YouTube channel. There's a video that explains Smart Invest and how to create the setup. Don't forget, Smart Invest is for long-term investment. So if I say that the market is going to go bullish in the next 1 month or 2 months, and I want to start buying XYZ coin, if I go buy the coin on my own, maybe with $10,000, the market could even dump 50% more, and I'll be losing 50%. So Smart Invest breaks that your $10,000 capital into an investment structure that is specified, maybe say 3 months or 1 year. And at every point, it looks for when to buy without exhausting your capital in the market. So that is a super amazing bot. It's one of the long-term strategy best system that we have. So there's a video on YouTube for that. Someone said, I still have 2 trades still from yesterday's setup. Lena and BTC, 100% safe, still valid. I also still have those. Okay, strategy period for BTC, I already explained that. Okay. Someone said, okay, the profit I made from the last trading, my BTC and ANKRO is still there. It has not closed. Please, to be clear, like I always explained, I'm going to share my screen to give more clarity to that again. So when we say we're trading in the zone, we identify the market zone. Let's say ANKRO, for example, if you can see my screen, that we're long in ANKRO, and we identify that the first zone is at 12%. Now, if you take a trade over here and you have a first entry into ANKRO, you're only going to have your first entry amounts in the trade. Means when the price move into our first price zone, you're going to take profit. But for a trader looking to make a lot of money, your goal is not always to take profit in the first zone. And I keep saying that your goal is hoping that the market does a drawdown into the lower zone that you are expecting. Don't forget the reason why we capture the market zone and go through the Martingale configurations that we do. The Martingale configuration that we do over here is to cover up for the zone. So for example, if I have in the Martingale calculator over here, I want to do a $5,000, $25,000 market size, and my first entry is $166 like it is over here. If we start up this trade and the price just go right up into our entry, I will only be taking profits of $166. So the goal for Martingale is always to expect that you will have those drawdown. But the beautiful thing is we got the drawdown covered up. So you can see over here also in my trade, I do have those drawdown. But the beautiful thing is the market goes 30% against you in drawdown, but with the Martingale calculator, it sorts out your trade that the market is only 3% from your entry. So that is something unique that we created. The price drops 30%, but for Tafabot users using the Martingale calculator, following the strategy, you are just 3% drop. So any kickoff from the market, you're on huge profits. So that is something pretty amazing. So if you have this drawdown, this is what we expect. This is what we hope to happen. That is how we make more profits in the markets. All right, I'm going to take a few more. And someone said, I'm new here. How do I get started? Please check in for a lot of videos on our YouTube on the basic stuff before you get here, so you understand what is Martingale, how do you create the bot, so you can start following the setting. We're still going to keep posting a lot of those video guides. Please, can one lose money using the strategy? Very important question. This is very, very vital. I'm going to share my screen once more to illustrate that. Can one lose money using this setup? So when we create a setup for the zone, like we did over here, I'm going to take Matic, for example. So we create a setup, and our Matic started earlier from here, where we created a Matic setup on the maximum drawdown of 30%. So when we do that, first we try to find out where is the market moving into. We find that, okay, the market is going long globally. So we're identifying trades that we can go on long. We identify the zone of those trades and we cover up for the maximum drawdown. Now, if a trade ever falls outside our drawdown or our market zone, that becomes an invalid trade. Now, that is only possible to happen if there is an extremely bullish market and you're on short, or an extremely bearish market and you're on long more. But that would not happen because first we identify where the market is moving to. Now, keeping in mind that there are other factors that could influence the market, like let's say the US releasing news, we're banning Bitcoin and the price does an instant drop against all of the zone. Now, the beautiful thing that we did to cover up for that is we try to cover up the maximum drawdown. So if we look at the chart, we see what is the maximum drawdown. So even if something happens that pushes the price further down, we're still covering those drawdown. And if it ever gets outside our zone, then we invalidate those trades. So far, we've never seen a loss with our live setup. And that's, we are hoping will remain the same, not just in hope, but because the setup are so solid that they never fail. Now, if anything comes up at any point, the beautiful thing is we try to communicate it earlier to tell you this is what to do. So we are not looking at losing any funds with our setup. Perfect. Please, could you repeat the take profit for them again? Okay, I think I already specified that. It's also on the Telegram channel. Please get that over there. Okay, this person keeps insisting, could we increase the maximum trade? We're looking into that, and we're going to inform the community when there's an update on that. Guys, I think we've had a pretty amazing time. I've answered a whole lot of questions. Don't miss all of the setup. Make sure You put in the setups into your Tafabot. After this call, if you've not done that, take all of the setup tomorrow. I want to review, want to see how much more profits we did. Like yesterday, coming into today, we've done 25% profit. We still have some trades that have not closed yet. They're going to be closing by tomorrow, and we are also going to be making a whole lot of profit. So this is a long-term initiative. We're committed to it. And we also want to make sure that the community is taking up this initiative. Thank you so much, Staffers, and see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Someone said you're an amazing leader. Keep up the good work, sir. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. It's been an amazing time. Go make the setup. Go make some money. Cheers.